In 1983, a man with nothing, no name, no money, no country that wanted him, looked up at the sky and read four words of a blimp. And for one single moment, he believed them completely. That moment cost him everything, and it's the only moment worth living for. Tony Montana didn't arrive in America with a plan. He arrived with an accent people mocked, a name nobody recognized, and something far more dangerous than either of those things, a complete and total refusal to accept the life the world has already decided was appropriate for someone like him. That's not a movie detail. That's the whole point, because the world does this to everyone, not dramatically, not all at once. It does it quietly. Through the jobs, it tells you are realistic. The dreams, it tells you are childish. The rooms, it tells you that aren't meant for people like you. And most people listen. They sit down, they adjust, they spend 40 years making themselves small enough to fit into a box that was built by someone else for someone else, with someone else's limitations in mind. Tony Montana looked at that box and lit it on fire. Not because he was smarter, not because he was more talented, but because he made a decision, private, quiet, almost violent in its certainty, that the world was his to take. And that decision, before anything else, is where everything begins. Here's something nobody tells you about the world. It doesn't care about you. Not harshly, not personally, just completely, totally, cosmically. It doesn't care. The world is indifferent. It moves fast and it moves without you if you let it. It doesn't reward potential. It doesn't notice effort. That stays private. It doesn't hand anything to anyone on the basis of who deserves it. And this is where most people make the mistake that defines their entire life. They spend it waiting to be noticed, waiting to be chosen, waiting for the moment someone looks at them and says, okay, now your time, go. Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who rose from a nobody on an island nobody cared about to commanding the most powerful army on earth, understood something about this most people will never grasp in an entire lifetime. He said, death is nothing but to live defeated and without glory is to die every day. He wasn't talking about war. He was talking about the slow, quiet, daily death of a person who stopped moving, who stopped reaching, who made peace with a life that was comfortable enough to stay in but never quite alive enough to mean anything. That death doesn't look dramatic. It looks like Sunday nights where something feels wrong, but you can't name it. It looks like watching someone else do the thing you told yourself you'd do one day. It looks like one day becoming a phrase you stopped saying out loud because even you stopped believing it. That is what happens when you let the world exist without you in it. The samurai had a concept they called Zanshin. Loosely translated, it means remaining mind, a state of total calm, completely relaxed awareness. Not aggression, not desperation, not the frantic energy of someone chasing something they're afraid they'll never catch. The opposite. Person with Zanshin moves through the world like they've already arrived. Not arrogant, not loud, just certain, unhurried, completely at ease with the fact that they are exactly where they're supposed to be, moving exactly in the direction they're supposed to move. This is what the world is yours actually feels like when you live it properly. Not Tony Montana screaming at his enemies, not ego, not excess. A quiet, private, unshakable knowing. The kind of person who walks into a room and doesn't need to announce themselves. The kind of person who doesn't need external validation because the internal one never ran out. The kind of person who, when the world pushes back, and it always pushes back, doesn't flinch because they have already decided. And once you've decided, truly decided, not hoped, not wished, decided, the pushing back is just noise. History doesn't remember people who waited. Think about that for a second. Not a single name that has survived centuries, not a single person whose story still gets told, waited for the world to come to them. Nikola Tesla arrived in America with 4 cents and a drawing. He believed so completely in what he was building that he worked through the night for years, alone, mocked by every establishment he was trying to serve, and rewired the entire modern world. Coco Chanel grew up in an orphanage. She had nothing, no connections, no money, no name. She looked at a world that had already decided what a woman was allowed to be and simply refused to accept the decision. She built an empire that still runs today, long after she's gone. These weren't lucky people, these were dedicated people. And there's a difference so vast between those two things that most people never fully grasp it. Lucky is something that happens to you. Decided is something you do, privately, quietly, before any evidence exists that it's the right call. Before money, before the proof, before anyone else agrees. The Welsh have a proverb that survived centuries for a reason. The hand that gives, gathers. The people who take the most from the world are almost always the ones who put into it, without reservation, not the ones who herd, not the ones who protect what little they have out of fear, the ones who move through life with open hands and the quiet belief that there will always be enough because they are always building more. So if the formula is clear, decide, move, build, why doesn't everyone do it? Here's the honest answer: because deciding is the most terrifying thing a human being can do. Not skydiving, not public speaking, not any of those things people put on a list of things they're afraid of. Deciding, because the moment you decide truly out loud to yourself that the world is yours, that you are going to build something, that you are going to live like your life actually belongs to you, you become accountable to it. And accountability means that if it doesn't work, you can't blame the circumstances anymore. You can't say the timing was wrong, or the odds were stacked, or nobody gave you a chance. You decided and it worked. That vulnerability, that complete naked exposure to your own failure is what keeps most people in waiting rooms their entire lives. The philosopher Epictetus, a man who was born a slave, who had literally every external reason to give up on the idea that life was his to shape, wrote something from that position that should stop you cold. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Not control everything, not eliminate risk, not wait until the path is clear. Make the best use of what is in your power. That's the whole philosophy. What's in your power, your decisions, your effort, your direction, your response to what happens. Use that completely, fully, without reservation. And everything outside of that, let it happen. Don't fight it. Don't fear it. Don't let it become the reason you don't move, because the only thing that was ever actually in your power was the decision, and you've been sitting on it. Tony Montana made the decision and it destroyed him. And I think about that a lot, because the easy version of this video would be to tell you he got it wrong. That he was too greedy, too paranoid, too consumed by the thing he was chasing to enjoy what he caught. And all of that's true. But here's what's also true. He lived, not in the biographical sense. He was a fictional character, but in the way that matters. He moved, he built, he burned, he felt the full weight of being alive in a way that most people, safely tucked into their comfortable, quiet waiting room lives, never will. There is an Arab proverb that has always stayed with me. The tree that bears the most fruit gets the most stones thrown at it. The people living loudest, building hardest, reaching furthest, they got hit the most. That's a reason to stay small. That's proof they're the ones worth aiming at. Tony Montana got hit, but he was never invisible. So here's what I want you to take from this. Not the mansion, not the power, not the ego, the decision. The quiet, private, almost sacred moment where you stop negotiating with yourself about what you're allowed to want and you just decide the world is indifferent. It will not come to you. It will notice you standing at the edge, waiting for a permission that was never going to arrive, but it will respond to you. It always responds to the person who moves first, who builds without guarantee, who decides before the evidence is there, before the timing is right, before anyone else agrees. That person gets the world, not because they deserved it more than you, but because they stopped waiting for someone to tell them they did. The world is yours, Chico. It always was. The only thing left is deciding to live like it.